The newly released Perseus gunship is capturing the attention of many a Star Citizen player, and understandably so. So, when my org put together an outing for a fleet of these ships to go out and do some combat with a full crew complement, the opportunity was just too good to pass up. I'm Forrester, and this video will include a mix of voiceover and pure combat footage set to music. So, with no further ado, let's get into battle. And for this first engagement, I'm up in the bridge in the Copilot gunner seat, able to do some shooting with the small turret while the big turrets are otherwise occupied. It gives me a great view of the battle as it's progressing. As you can see, we have a small fleet of our own here, with some other Perseus gunships joining, as well as an Idris as a bit of a mothership. And I'll start out by hopping into the remote turret and trying to engage some of those fighters that are putting some pressure on the ships. I say some pressure, I think that's probably generous given the amount of firepower that's bearing down on them, but nonetheless, I'll help with the fighters first. And there's our target for Combat Gauntlet Scenario 8, it's a Perseus gunship. I'm not going to do very much at this range with these weapons, but at least I suppose I'm showing willing and helping a little. That Corsair, however, is fair game. I will apologise in advance for all of the party warnings that will pop up. This group ended up being more than 25 people in the end, so there was a lot happening. But that said, we got an awful lot done with this group and it was very fun. As we sit about 2 kilometers out, very satisfying seeing those cannons firing, those heavy shells going in from multiple Perseus gunships. That poor Polaris having to deal with it. Experiment with some different angles just to see those cannons firing, those shells going in. It looks fantastic. And I really like this sort of angle where you get almost the broadside engagement from those turrets. I think it looks great. And then of course the view from the bridge, and hop back into the remote turret. I think this is well out of range of that Polaris. So I think since I'm out of range to do too much meaningful from this turret, I'll just enjoy the view of all of these different Perseus gunships firing some ballistic weapons on the Polaris. Seeing some engines floating off into the distance that have obviously been shot off it as well, which probably helps. And this could be even more brutal when we get engineering type gameplay, because these heavy shells from these size 8 cannons, unless these ships have armour, which they may eventually end up doing, could be very damaging to the internal components. Would hate to be a damage control crew on that Polaris. Definitely something quite satisfying about watching those heavy shells going in, seeing all of the colours. That Idris now engaging as well. I'm excited for the potential that fleet battles could bring even as early as next year into Star Citizen. I think, yeah, could be exciting. And with that, that Perseus is destroyed. Perseus? Polaris is destroyed. It's a goner. And so we'll move into the next engagement. This time I've hopped into one of the gun turrets on the Perseus, so a little bit more perhaps involved in the combat, especially at the longer ranges. Get to fire these large size 8 weapons. Plus, of course, there's the smaller linked weapons below. Switch those Panthers and potentially engage a fighter. At the moment we've got another Polaris that we're engaging. This is another scenario 8 of the combat gauntlet. The Polaris is just hiding behind this little asteroid. It's still pretty far away at this point. So doing my best to use the precision mode to aim for the engines. It seems to be once you knock out the engines, the fight gets a whole lot easier. But of course at these kind of ranges, it's not the easiest of aiming tasks to be able to do that. But it is very satisfying being able to shoot from these large size 8 turrets, large size 8 cannons on them. They just feel heavy. It's one of the things I think the Perseus has got very right. You feel like you're firing a high caliber weapon. And obviously the Polaris is a very large target to be taking on with these. I think they're much more optimized for some of the sub-capital types, like, I don't know, making a Constellation or a Corsair very, very worried. But they do work against a Polaris as well, especially when you've got a large group of Perseus gunships just as we have here. Now, I'll be the first to admit I'm not the best turret gunner, so if you're seeing this thinking you could do a better job of aiming, well, you might be right. I'm doing my best, but it's hard just getting those precision shots in. There is a Corsair behind, but I think it's a little bit too far away for me to effectively engage, so I'll go back to trying to shoot engines at 5 kilometers instead. And once again, seeing all of those allied ships engaging, watching the cannon fire go in from them, watching the turret fire go in from them, I am definitely excited for fleet combat in this game, as long as it is proper multi-crew fleet combat like this, where we've got properly crewed ships engaging targets. For me, this is kind of what my hopes and dreams are for multi-crew. Just add a bit of engineering in so you've got a reason to run around and do some repairs and fix up the power. Oh, it's the dream. Perseus now within about 3 kilometers, getting closer. Just watching one of our friendly Perseus is getting in very close to that thing. Point blank range, really. I don't know, I'm sat here and I'm absolutely mesmerized watching it. You'll have to let me know in the video comments if this kind of gameplay video appeals to you, or if it's just me enjoying too much watching some large fleet combat. At this point, I've given up on the subsystem targeting. I'm just happy to keep the shells landing on that Polaris, do some damage and knock out the hull. I've actually managed to overheat the guns a little bit. So I'm going to fire the Panthers for a bit while they cool down. There we go. And there we go. The next Polaris is destroyed. So a fun little bit of Perseus gunship fleet action there for you. If you enjoyed this video, you might press the like button to let me know I should make more of these gameplay videos, and if you're not yet subscribed, given that you got this far, you might like to do that too, so that YouTube will know to show you more videos like this in future. But otherwise, and as always, thank you for watching.